TJ here. So we got the rookie premieres today, and now I'm going to rank them in our fourth annual. Sorry, misspelled that. Annual rookie premiere rankings video. We've been doing it since 16. Let's keep it going. I believe that was the first year rookie premieres. So we got 1 through 10 of them in the game, as you've seen. And we have them. We have. What's nice about this is that if I can minimize my face, we have their overalls too for the next year. So what we're gonna do is kind of take into account like 3 things just about. The positions of need and what like the most valuable positions for Mutt is. The starting out level of them and the usefulness of that starting out level, and then the upgrade potential, not necessarily through the stats that they'll get, but including the stats that they'll get and achieve through the year, but also the EA-ness of it and the marketing factor of the players. So there's a few different things that we need to take into account to kind of bring under the umbrella of how we think these players will do and how they'll upgrade through the year. Now, let's get right into it, into the famous Notepad of Destiny. So number 10. You guys might be like, I don't know. Lindstrom. I think Lindstrom's getting 10. It's a guard, and the only way a guard's getting upgraded is if we get, our recent history shows exactly the path. Become the best guard in the entire NFL, Zach Martin. But besides that, Nelson had an amazing year, and I don't think it's going to be repeated this year. Maybe Chris is great, but I don't think he's going to go that high. And it's an interior offensive lineman in a game that does not beg the need for interior offensive linemen. So Lindstrom's last in my opinion because, one, he's not sexy, and it's really hard for a guard to stand out unless you are generational. All right, number 9. Tj Hawkinson. Oh, and the numbers to their right are their overalls to start next year. So that's also kind of how EA thinks of them too. So a tight end on the Lions. I guess I can go to his stats too if we want to see those. So let's go to, I was looking up players from last year. I was looking up prices for these cars to start. And I think one of the reasons why I'm not that concerned about how they're going to start is due to the fact that these cars are going to be low 70s. And I looked at my old Market Mondays and priced it out. I researched it. These low 70 overalls at the beginning of the game go for like 1,400 coins. And so do we need to take into cars that are going to be 1,400 coins at the start? In my opinion, that weighs less on the factor to get these rookie premieres than you'd want the guys that are going to get upgrades later, the Barkleys, the ones that are going to get to those, 98 overalls, those difference makers. And so that's kind of more of what we're focusing on a little bit later in the year once the promos come through, who EA wants to market and the pack pullers. So Lindstrom, his stats, it's a guard, whatever. All right, so why I said Hawkinson as my second to least favorite. A 6'5" tight end is really nice. High point cheese got fixed a little. They clearly see him as a good run blocker, which is amazing for a tight end. And don't get me wrong, all these rookie premieres are good players. So don't say oh, you're hating. They're high draft picks, so any one of them can pop off. But on a Lions offense that's traditionally not seen as high powered, I think Hawkinson's kind of like number 9 for me. So tight end, while a solid, useful piece, I think. And this thing is like EA's shown with Hurst to upgrade guys no matter what kind of year they are at tight end. So maybe I'm a little low on that, but we're gonna continue with it. I just don't see the value there, but you never know. EA's it. Number 8, we're gonna go with a running back. Now, running backs generally are very replaceable in this game. We get a new one literally every week in Mutt. So in order for him to keep up, Josh Jacobs has to have another year like we saw with Barkley. And I don't think Jacobs has it in it. The problem with Jacobs that we didn't really see as much with Barkley is the speed on him. And he's going to be 93 speed. This is like, his 99 overall card is going to be 93 speed. Is 93 speed competitive right now? I mean, with Theme Team Boost and Sprinter, maybe, but we're not going to have that. Well, I'm not going to say not going to. I don't know. We might have something like that, but it's going to be hard to boost him up to compete. And he's going to be a trucking back, which is fine. We'll take a look at his weight. He's 220, which is pretty good. It's not like the thick boy like Bettis types, but 220 is solid. I just don't think he's got that like top end potential like Saquon had. But maybe Oakland does run him and he helps the offense because, we got Antonio Brown there. But who knows with Josh? Rookie running backs, the only reason I'm hesitant to put them so low is because they generally perform higher than a lot of other positions, as it's a lot easier to adjust to that position than it is many others at the NFL level. So, next on the list, but Josh Jacobs, we'll see. I got him right 8th. Deandre Baker, 7th. So, he is the lowest, if I recall correctly, he's the lowest rated by EA coming out. He's a cornerback. And the reason you're like, oh, well, clearly EA doesn't love him. Why should we? Well, the reason why is position availability. Now, early on in the year, of course, all these guys under 75 overall are going to be like 1,300, 1,400 coins. The guys 75 to 79 are going to be like 3,300. I recall-ish, that was like a week or two into the game. Yeah, a week and a half into the game, it was 3,300. But here's the thing. With Baker being a giant on a team that's kind of devoid of talent, and maybe I'm fucking around, but he's a position of need, so he's gonna. It's a position need. I mean, there's a lot of them on the field, so he can fulfill like a coverage role for you later on the field. Do I think he's gonna get a lot of upgrades? Not necessarily, unless he really pops off. And maybe I do have him ranked. Maybe I should pull him below Jacobs and Hawkinson, but I don't know. Maybe the Giants get a few. It's the Big Apple. A lot of media focus on that team, so if he does start to play well, he will get upgrades. But the thing is, he's also slow. 94 speed. So that's why I got him ranked 7th, and he's kind of like trending downward for me. The only thing that saves him is that position. But yeah, it's tough. I don't know if I really respect this card as much as I should, and I might be overrating him a little bit. So that's what it is. Back to the notepad of destiny. The number 6th ranked guy, and this is where I stopped. So I did 6 rookie of the year. So this was my last one. Darnell Savage Jr., although I didn't do it in order on stream. This is Darnell Savage Jr., I'm going to put at number 6. Now, 72, so he is tied for the 2nd lowest overall on the list. I've heard some good things out of camp, and EA heard our bitching about how slow he was. So, safeties that are fast are going to be subbed in at linebacker, and you're going to use them, right? Because they're going to be able to get animation. So, only 5'11", which is an issue, but, we got the Earl Thomas type still performing well. The problem is he's not going to be Earl Thomas. He's not going to be that smart when the game launches because his overall will be so low. But he's got the physical stats to take on the field and kind of abuse right away. So I am perfectly fine rating Darnell Savage that high on the list because I like the way he's statted this year, and I'd assume it going into next year. All right, back at it, number 5. And I had a little trouble between number 5 and 6. I decided to put Brown above Savage. The speed right away is needed. What does he launch with? Like 89, 90 speed? It depends on how they do their rating. A ratings for MUT 20 because they said they've had that issue with the 99 overalls and having 99 speed for so long with the game and having a short shelf life. So they'll probably expand that a little. I don't know how they'll do that, but I think speed guys will stay speed guys longer. Of course, these things don't get upgraded after February with a few exceptions like awards, but I think Brown, having that guy, he can play number 3, 4 for you a while, a subman guy that you can basically run on a streak if you find a cover 2 beater, cover 3, cover 4. So a fast guy is always a nice weapon to have for an offense. So that's why he's rated 5, even though I think his path to upgrading is a little bit further or longer than, say, other cards. So it's not bad, though. Like, I don't know. I wanted to go to the video game, actually. It's tough because for getting Lamar Jackson throwing the ball is going to be tough to get many catches. So does EA upgrade him? Like, can I see him getting like a most feared card because speed is scary? Maybe. A lot of people compare him to like the Tyreek Hill of this year if Tyreek gets suspended. And the thing is, like, EA didn't specifically push Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill pushed EA. Tyreek Hill's stats forced him to keep upgrading him. With Marquise Brown and his, I would say, lack of quarterbacking, and maybe Lamar takes steps forward and I'm wrong. That's fine. I don't want to be wrong because they're in the same division as the Steelers, but I think Brown might not force EA's hand quite like Hill did. So I'm nervous about his upgrades, but his early game and kind of early mid stuff is going to be kind of nice. And if speed sells, we are speed sluts in the MUT community, so that's why I kind of figure he'll get an upgrade or two while we're using him. But I can totally see a Kelvin Ridley type situation where it takes him a little bit longer to get upgrades and he doesn't get that fully upgrade. So that might be an issue. Back to number 4. Quinn Williams, interior defensive lineman. Now, we know a lot of the pressure in MUT and Madden comes from like the edge guys getting animations on ends and kind of glitching out, and running backs don't recognize it and they just get through and smack it. Whereas like the interior pressure, there isn't a push. Clint said they couldn't code a push into the game due to funky stuff that happens with the quarterback dropbacks and stuff. So that's a major issue. Is the fact that these guys don't actually get any type of interior pressure like we see in the NFL. So that's why I kind of rate of the high overalls of the top guys. Quinn Williams is kind of like right there. I expect he's going to get upgrades because highly drafted, highly respected, highly touted, a good player. So I expect him to get upgraded, but I just don't think it's a position that really sees a difference. We do see like the Aaron Donald types, the guy with the high stats, will make a difference, but when they launch at 77 overall, he's not going to be glitching out linemen with his high stats. So because his stats delta between his pass rush moves and the offensive line pass block moves won't be that high to start, I don't really take into effect, but maybe further down the line when they do start giving him higher stats, if he does have an amazing year, which he very well could. And I mean, we'll see on the Jets. Like, they don't really push Jets cards. Like, how long did it take Adams to get an upgrade? And he deserved one. So that's one thing holding him back. I mean, it is, a major media market, so maybe I'm speaking on my ass. But it did take the Mutt team a little bit longer than it expected for a few Jets cards this year. So Quinn Williams is number 4, even though he's got the talent to be number 1 in our hearts. Well, number 2 after you know who. 3, Nick Bosa. All right, so ends in Mutt have a trouble time getting on the field. Yes, I speak. Why use a lot of words when few words do well? So, the Bosa. Bosa. Where are you, Bosa? Okay, so outside linebackers generally have better stats rushing the passer, but EA has balanced it out a little bit in recent years. And Bosa's somebody that you can also slide in the inside on nickel sets to rush the passer. And I think he's got a big name. His brother had a big name. His brother's got a lot of upgrades. So I think Nick coming out is in line for upgrades. And that's cool. That's what we want. That's what we're looking for with these cards. So that's why he's number 3. I don't think he's any sexier than that, right? It's basically a stock answer coming from a guy that'll probably get stock upgrades through the year. I don't see them ignoring Bosa. I think he's going to be a very well-producing card. We'll see if he... in a lot of these rookie premieres, also dependent if we can get some chems on them. If we don't get chems on them, it's a very disappointing year indeed again. So hopefully they fix that issue so we don't get an ability chems. A pass rusher without ability chems really showed itself in the beta to be kind of useless. So hopefully these guys do get ability chems. We saw Kyler Murray's... he had an ability chem on one of his cards. I forgot where we saw it, but... anyways, number 2, and I'm going to get blamed for being a homer, Devin Bush. So, why is Bush nice? Bush is very nice due to being a middle linebacker and very fast. He's 5'11", another knock against him. He's a little shorter than you'd like to see for a user. And since they said linebacker users won't get interceptions quite like safeties will this year, only Kuechly and Wagner have the ability to get those kind of lurks that are pretty nice. At the start of the year, Devin Bush is going to suck. The problem is, like, later in the year, the kind of where we're focusing on these rookie premieres, I don't know how the ability chems are going to work. So if you're able to add those Wagner, Kuechly ability chem onto him later in the year when he's higher overall, then he becomes glitchy. So kind of like it's the perfect storm. It'll happen when it happens. Starting off, he's just going to be running around like a chicken with his head cut off, not lurking anything, but he's still going to be fast in the middle linebacker spot. But like I talked about earlier with Savage, you'll probably want to sub in safeties at linebacker spots for a good portion of the beginning of the year. And Bush, when he matures into a Shaz type, he might get those chems, and he'll be back to being glitchy like he is this year. All right, so number 1, I think you guys know the last one, as he has been shown off quite a bit. Kyler Murray. There are so many people that are going to be pushed by the NFL every year. Kyler is one of them. EA makes money off an NFL that does well, that markets well, that has superstars. EA pushes them. The NFL pushes them. EA sells packs due to them. And it's just like an endless cycle. So the more you build them up, the better it is. So Kyler is basically Michael Vick now. We saw him. He's outrunning these fast wide receivers. He's basically going to be him and Lamar, fast quarterbacks that the Mutt community salivates for. It's surprising sometimes they don't update cards that would rip a lot of packs, but I mean, this is it, right? I know mobile quarterbacks took a big nerf because they don't have the ability chems, but wait till later in the year, right? Wait till we get the ability chems on him, kind of when he starts to get like, I don't know, maybe he'll get a, what do you think his first upgrade? If he goes off, have a team of the week? That'd be kind of cool. He could get a Saquon Barkley, be the rookie master right away. Remember when Barkley got that? That was hot. But I think the sky is the limit for Kyler. And while you could say, and I would agree with you, the position isn't of need in Mutt. It's obviously the most important position. Quarterback, user are the two most important positions, while they're ranked there. But we get, just like a running back, we get almost a new quarterback a week too. So there's a lot of competition for his spot. especially now with Lamar, Vic, him. I mean, and then you got the other guys that can scramble a little bit, the Steve Young types. But I think for how much EA is going to push him, the NFL is going to push him, I think he's going to get the most upgrades. I could be flat wrong, and it's not the first time, won't be the last time. But Kyler Murray, to me, is number 1B with, as always, 1A being Taiwan. That's it for the video. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Call action. See you tomorrow.